Sup guys, how's it going, and welcome to another Gamer Tech review. Now in this review we're going to be taking a look at a CPU cooler made by Cooler Master. It is the Nepton 240M and it is an all-in-one loop water cooling system for your CPU. Now I have reviewed one similar to this in the past. It was the Sidon 120V. The main difference between the two is the Sidon is a 120 fan slot, whereas this is a 240. So this has got twice the cooling surface area of the radiator than the previous one did. So in theory this should cool a lot better than the previous one. However, with this one, I don't think I've got enough room in the case to use push-pull configuration with the fan, so it's only going to be in push, as I'm not really a fan of, like, pull. I don't think pull's that effective, but apparently there's not really much difference between the two. But yeah, so it's going to be just in push config. And the case in question is the BitPhoenix Prodigy M. Now, there isn't a huge amount of space inside that case, so I don't really know how well it's going to work. However, I'm determined to fit this and all the other components inside that case, because if they don't go in, well, let's just say they have to go in. So they'll be going in it one way or another. So with that promise out of the way, let's just have a closer look at the box and then crack out the cooler and have a closer look at it. On the front of the box, we have a nice picture of the cooler along with the title and a few facts. It says it's maintenance free, has 2 times surface area due to micro channels, and also has durable FEP piping, along with stating some socket support and also a 5-year warranty. The sides of the box are quite plain, but then on the back we have a lot of information in a variety of languages, which is accompanied by performance tests and also some technical drawings of the CPU block and radiator. Now the box is done, let's just have a little look at the cooler. And here we have the Nepton 240M in all of its glory. Now the first thing you'll notice is this box is huge. So we have a warranty booklet from Cooler Master, so thank you for the warranty booklet, guys. The instruction booklet and the building manual. Use this. I did not use the instruction manual when I installed my last cooler like this in my other PC, so make sure that you read this and you do everything properly, because I will be doing everything. Even though I've made one before, I will be reading this to the letter and making sure that everything goes in correctly. Then we get 2 fans included as well. Now I have 2 Cooler Master fans, which is quite nice. So we can put these both on the radiator in push config. If there is room, I might put it push pull, but I think for now anyway, it's going to be perfectly fine just in push config. So those are the fans. Next up, we will have this bag here of extra things, and then we'll get through to the cooler itself. In here we have all of the different mounting screws, the mounts themselves. We have a nice little rubber sound dampener, which you'll put between the radiator and the case, and that will help to absorb vibrations from the fan. You have a selection of different screws depending on which CPU you're going to be mounting on. Like Intel, they require different types of screws depending on what socket processor they're actually going to be doing, so it's good that you get included a whole selection of different ones in there. One thing I have just seen in there though, you do get a fan adapter, so if you haven't got enough pins on your motherboard for it, you can just whack that in and then it comes out into 2. You have one 4-pin and one 3-pin, so that is actually going to be quite handy for me, because I think I'm one 4-pin short away from fitting everything on. So the fact that it's got that is very handy and probably saves me a few pounds from buying an adapter. So very, very good. Now the thing that we have all been waiting for, the cooler itself. Now it is kind of bent around with its tubes and radiator and all that kind of jazz. So let's put the box to the back there, and there we have it. Here we have the cooler itself. Now I must admit that this is very, very pretty, and there is a huge amount of surface area on those fins which we can use in order to cool down our CPU. Now it is narrow actually as well as radiators go. It's definitely within an inch thickness, so that with the added fans on there, it's probably going to be coming out to about that there, which should fit in the case perfectly fine, because I do believe I've got the maximum depth of a 5.25 bay, or maybe a little bit more than that, in order to fit this in. So I think that probably should be okay. And if there is an issue, I can always just cut a little bit of the bay out and make it fit that way, because no matter what, this is going in the case. Now from looking at this central bit here, we can see that the tubes, you can actually bend them around. So if you do want them to go a certain way, look at that, you can bend them to make them fit in any kind of loop shape that you want, which is quite handy to be fair. Although I think I'm going to be using them both more, probably going upright like this. But the fact that you can move them is very, very handy. Now this is a completely maintenance free system. You don't have to worry about opening it up and filling liquid and stuff like that. You just plug it in and then you're good to go, and that is it. Now that's the radiator, got your tubes in here, and this is your pump. Now the reservoir is everything that's already here. You don't have a specific like extra reservoir, it's just a fluid that is inside the system. And I am led to believe that this will light up with some nice LED colors. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when it's all running. And we do have a little connector there, which will go into the case which powers the pump, which actually makes me still in need of one extra connector, because that will give me 2. This will then use up one of the other ones, so I am still down unless I only use one case fan, which could be a possibility. But anyway, that is the radiator there. It looks very, very pretty, and I can't wait to get this in the case. So without further ado, let's just fit it. So how did the Nepton 240M perform? Now that is the big important question, because these all-in-one loops are really, really awesome bits of kit. However, if they can't keep your CPU cool, then what is the point in them? Now in the last few CPU coolers I've reviewed, I've received a lot of feedback in the way in which I should benchmark and test, and I have listened to you, and thank you very much for giving me that information, because not only was it easier and quicker, but it also gave me a much better accurate result, which I'm going to share with you now. So in testing this CPU cooler, I used the CPU burn-in program. First of all, set the test to 50% load and ran it a couple of times just to make sure that everything was stable and working and running okay. Then I set it to 100% load and ran it 6 times straight after the other, so it was an hour and a half running the CPU burn-in test. And what temperature did it max out after these tests? Well, as you can see here, 50 degrees. Now I think that is actually pretty darn good for this CPU cooler. Now the cooler has a 240mm radiator attached to it, and it only has 2 fans on it, and they are in push position. So you could actually get better performance out of this cooler if you added an extra 2 fans to the other side. However, with this PC build I wasn't really able to do that. But to be fair, running a CPU burn-in test at 100% for an hour and a half and you only get a maximum temperature of 50 degrees, this result I am very, very happy with. You know, running a burn-in for 100% load for an hour and a half and you get that result there, yeah, like 50 degrees. That is way within any kind of safety zone for CPU temperatures running at, and yeah, I think that's really, really good. Also, installation of the unit I found to be very, very easy. Now, if you watch my full build case review, you'll see it was quite tricky for me to actually get it in there, just because there wasn't a huge amount of space available for me in this case. However, any issues I had installing it was purely because of the case's size and not because of the cooler itself. In a full-size M80X case, you're not going to have a problem kind of fitting it in and getting the tubes anywhere. And because of the tight restrictions, actually, I found out that the tubes on this are very, very hard-wearing, awesome. They're super anti-kink, and yeah, because when I fit it, actually, I had to have a tube come out straight into a right angle, and then that runs over the graphics card and then into the CPU block. So yeah, it's just, the tubing's awesome. In regards to noise, it's very quiet as well. Like, you can't hear the pump pumping all the water around, and again, you can't really hear the fans. It's a very quiet all-in-one unit. So all in all, yeah, very big thumbs up for the unit. It's quiet, it performs, it's lovely, the tubes are great. Yeah, it's awesome. The only thing on the list that it has to tick is the price box. Now, if you were to buy one of these for yourself, you're looking at around £85. Now, I think that is right on the money for the cost of this unit. You get great performance, it installs easily, you don't have to mess around with filling it with water or doing anything like that. You just kind of get the fans, connect it to it, and then put it in. You can use your own fans if you like, and you can also add more fans to it if you want to as well. You just need to make sure that you've got enough fan ports on your motherboard in order to connect everything up, because if you add another 2 fans to it, then that's already 5 fan ports that you need to use, and most motherboards only come with 3 or 4, so it's something to bear in mind if you are going to be planning on adding extra fans. Now, the cooler does actually come with a fan splitter, so if you do have 4 fan connectors on your motherboard at the moment, you can use that splitter, then you'll have enough to use 4 on the radiator, and you'll also have one over to connect the CPU block, which houses the pump. The only thing with that is then you haven't got any other fans ready to suck air into the case from anywhere, so it's only going to be air that's ambiently in the case that's then going to get kind of pushed out and used for cooling, so that is something to bear in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So all in all, I'd give this a massive thumbs up, and if you are looking for a serious CPU cooler for your gaming or your picture editing or photo editing needs, then this is a serious consideration for you. So once again, thank you very much for watching my review. I hope it's been interesting, if you learned a few things, and if you are looking for a CPU cooler, then definitely check out the Nepton 240M. Now, if you haven't already, then please do hit that big red subscribe button, and also if you like watching live streams, then check out the link below in the description. It is for my Twitch channel. I stream games like Counter-Strike and Hearthstone, and yeah, we have good fun, and I I stream other stuff that I get usually in the Steam sale and then forget I have it and then never actually play it. So yeah, we do a lot on the Twitch channel. So until next time, I'll either see you on YouTube or I'll see you on Twitch. Stay fresh, guys.